All right, in this episode, we're going to go over our spreadsheet on how much it costs to launch a brand on Amazon FBA, especially if you are a health brand. So this spreadsheet goes over all the one-time setup costs as well as the monthly costs. So in this spreadsheet, you can go in here in these different columns and you can plug and play different estimates of how much you have in your budget, how much inventory you're thinking, how much ad budget you're thinking. You can plug and play different scenarios in these 1, 2, 3, 4 scenarios. And this will help you understand how much it realistically costs. And so, as always, with our podcast and our videos, I speak like I'm talking to a friend. I'm not here to sugarcoat it and be like, it costs less than it actually is. Nah, me and Dave will keep the realness with you. Me and Dave are your bros to keep it real with you. And guess what? If you're an experienced entrepreneur, if this is not your first rodeo, you already know. Things always cost more than you think. Things always take longer than you think. And we have our careers are both specialized in Amazon. So we've seen it all. And so our goal is to give you this helpful resource, but also share our insight in these different line items, which we're going to go over one by one, how we think about them, and maybe that can help you how you think about them too. And we're going to give you the realness of what you should think about spending on, because common mistake is you will try to go cheap on some of these things, but actually ends up shooting you in the foot and you get a horrible ROI. So yeah, this will just be a long form podcast episode. We're going to share our honest thoughts, how we think about the realistic costs to launch your brand on Amazon FBA. So this could be if you're a brand new startup, no sales yet in your company, or this could be you already have other sales channels and you want to move into Amazon. Actually, some of these are the one-time costs. Some of those you already have done, like your website and stuff. So either way, you can use this sheet and plug and play the things that you need in order to launch on Amazon. Sound good? So cost of goods, the thing with cost of goods, it's up to you. And the way that I kind of built it out here is in column 1 here, I would tell a friend, and trust me, I've gotten asked many, many times over the years, Riley, how much does it cost how much would it cost to launch one product on Amazon? And I would be like, well, 5K in inventory. And has it been done for less? Yeah, it has been. But realistically speaking, I would say for most categories, 5K in inventory, you're looking at set aside. But the thing is with any business, any e-commerce business, it's how much inventory you get it's up to you. If you're just launching a startup, you got to find that sweet spot, because on Amazon, let's say, think about initially sending to FBA, think about 1,000 units just to start. Let's say you're supplements or you're a health brand like protein powders or healthy CPG snacks, something like that. I think Amazon's limit for new sellers is 5,000 max. So somewhere between 1,000 to 5,000. What would you say?
For units, how many units to start with?
Yeah, like in general.
Yeah,
if someone's asking.
Depends on how big it is. Depends on the category, but yeah, I'd say if you're a serious startup, it's got to be definitely at least 1,000 units for sure. But it depends on the volume of your niche. If you're launching a door stopper and there's tens of thousands of units going out every month, you want to make sure you give yourself a healthy amount. But if we're talking leg braces for horses, where there's only 40 of them being sold every month, you don't want to get a bunch of long inventory. So you should have enough inventory to match your niche and be relatively competitive if you start to gain market share.
Agreed. So, Dave, go ahead and go through the next ones. I have to move locations, and I'll be back in a second.
Cool. Yeah, for cost of goods, it's I like to call it landed cost because it's not just what you're paying for the actual good itself. You pay for the product, you pay for the packaging. Depending on where it's manufactured, you got to pay for shipping, especially like global logistics. If you're importing from another country, take China for example, you're paying to ship it here, whether it's airship or fast freight or normal, normal ocean freight. You're paying for that, and then depending on what your agreement is with your supplier, most people do like DDP, which is a delivery with duties paid, and so that means your factory is paying for the customs and import duties as well. So all of that usually will get factored into your cost of goods. And I personally like to also consider the cost to transit to Amazon. And so I consider cost of goods or landed cost. What is the cost of the product once it actually gets to an Amazon warehouse? Everything before that. So duties, ocean freight shipping, the actual manufacturing cost, and then also if you pay an inbound placement fee, which is if you only send product to one Amazon warehouse, you have to pay an inbound placement fee, which is usually, if we're talking like your first shipment as a startup, it's usually a few $100s. I've seen those be, if you're shipping in 1,000 to 3,000 units, those are usually anywhere from 300-400 bucks all the way up to like 1,100 1,000. Another note on that: Amazon charges more in inbound placement on West Coast versus East Coast. So it's just something to factor in if you want to send your first batch of units into California from Asia. You're going to have to pay a higher placement fee, and that is an easy thing to calculate once you have your product UPC codes and you build it in Seller Central. You just do a mock shipment flow, so you can figure that out. But cost of goods is a lot of different things that actually come together as one cost. So I just say calculate it as landed cost. How much have you paid all in from the moment you begin manufacturing to arriving at an Amazon warehouse? The next one, this is more just for supplement sellers. We definitely recommend you've got to do a consultation, compliance consultation, if you're a supplement brand. Those do it with an expert. We work with a guy, Brian. You've probably seen him on our YouTube every once in a while. He is the compliance pro, and yeah, doing a consultation with him before you even start selling as early as possible. That is super important.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I did a webinar with him, and he's got just tons of horror stories of brands where they go through the whole manufacturing process, and then oh shit, there's some the ingredient was not either compliant with Amazon or not right. But if you're planning to sell on Amazon, make sure you go through consult with a supplements compliance expert. There's so many things that can go wrong that if your inventory is made wrong, then you're out tens of thousands. Like you're just fucked. So yeah. Anyways, the next one is branding.
Yeah, branding,
So
this is it's one where we see people go cheap, and that's usually what makes the difference of who's serious and who's not, is, are you just whipping up something on Illustrator yourself, or are you actually paying a professional team to do this right? And I think a lot of Amazon sellers kinda go cheap on this as they're, like, bootstrapping or they're trying to do it themselves, test a concept, um, and so it's kinda shooting yourself in the foot from the get-go. And I think the logic is, well, there's no revenue in the business yet, so why would we spend all this money like we're a professional brand? I'm like, well, you kind of just said it right there. Is you don't see yourselves as a professional brand, and so you're not going to invest in yourself like a professional brand. So what the expectation is you're going to launch and be on par with all these other top sellers? Probably not. You whipped up your packaging and your logo through AI and Canva in an afternoon, and you expect that you're gonna dominate? Yeah, no, probably not.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I should have said this at the beginning. We are assuming that you want to be $1 million health brand. So in the health and beauty space, you want to be reach $1 million level and then $10 million and then make an exit for multiple millions of dollars. So that's what kind of we're assuming for this. And in this column, this is what I would consider the very minimum that I would tell a friend that you're going to need for all these costs. And then we're going to have good, better, best is kind of how I think about this. And so for branding, like $500, that would be like shooting yourself in the foot. Most like professional branding agencies that have like offices and stuff for a branding package for a startup, you're looking at 10 to 20K. And so that's why I put like best, you're looking at the 10 to 20K range. Thomas, on our team, on our creative team, does branding packages like somewhere in the middle. It's like 5 to 10K range. You know, we don't have offices and we're not a big fancy agency like that. But I think we can produce just as good results for a better price. And then Shopify website, maybe you have one, maybe you don't, but the same thing. It's going to be a one-time cost to make sure you have an awesome website. Very similar as your Amazon storefront. Make sure you have an awesome Amazon storefront. I would say pay at least $3,000. Storefront via Thomas, you're looking at around 3K. Again, whether you get it through us, and I'll just pull up Amazing Creative.io. Whether you get it done through our creative team or someone else, and at least you should put in $3,000, at least as much as you pay for 1 month of advertising. You should pay on the conversion rate side. Trademark via IP Accelerator, that's $900. Make sure you do that through IP Accelerator. Okay, so these are the kind of the one-time costs. They're arranged. The consultation is the same. It's going to be $500. And then branding, website, storefront, that's creative stuff. I say spend as much as you can in your budget, because the more you spend, the better it's going to be, and the better conversion rate you're going to get. And then, okay, so that is one-time costs for the brand. And then we have the one-time setup costs for each product. So the lab testing. So this is only for supplements. This can range from $1,000 to $5,000 per product. We talk about this, Brian Yam and I, the subs expert. It's Eurofins charges based on the ingredient. So expect $1,000 to $5,000 per product. This is required. There's no way around it. If you sell on Amazon, you must be tested through Eurofins. Photo shoot, videos, and listing optimization. Same song and dance as your website and branding. The more you spend, the better conversion rate you're going to get. So go through a professional, just make sure the people who's doing the photo shoot, creating the videos, and making the Amazon listing, make sure they specialize in Amazon, especially who's doing the copywriting, because the sales pitch on Amazon is different than on your website. On Amazon, it's a decision-making platform. People are trying to figure out what's the best creatine gummies for me. They don't need to be convinced why they need the benefits of creatine, why creatine's great. They already know that. They just typed in that. So it's a different sales pitch. I could go on and on. That's why our listings are what I call Amazon conversion pages. What's a conversion page? It's a listing designed from the ground up to convert more customers. These 6 crucial areas of focus are what I invented. The 3-second rule, the USP focused, premium A plus, main image optimization, showcasing your best videos, and copy written by a senior Amazon expert who knows how to sell. So that's the key when it comes to a listing. We charge around $3K for a complete listing, including the brand story. All right, so that's what you should think about in cost there. Vine reviews, it's $200 one time for 30 reviews. Normally, we recommend do 30. Product testers, if you have the budget and you have the inventory and you want to get more than 30 reviews for a product, you can use a product tester site. The one that we've used before is FBAreviews.com. On our partners page, amazingmarketingco.com/partners, you will find a 10% discount code. It's right here. This is not sponsored by them, but it's just a regular referral discount code, something that we've used. Wait, that's the wrong sheet. Boom. Giveaways. Again, if you want to do giveaways on a deal site, on a rebate site, the one we've used is rebate.com. You can factor that in there. So ballpark down here is a sum of everything. Ballpark setup and launch costs total. Now this is for the brand and one product. If you have another product, this is what you do. Highlight like this, insert rows below, boom, just like that. And then paste here. Now this is going to make sure it's getting the sum, everything. Oops. Boom. There, now that's the total for multiple products. Okay. Before we go into monthly costs, any thoughts on the one-time costs?
No, I think the supplement brands have things to consider. If you're not a supplement, you don't have to worry about testing. But yeah, the main thought is the more you put in to the setup, the more you're going to get out of it in the long run. And especially if you're doing like the minimum first and you're thinking, oh, like when we make more money, then we'll invest more. It doesn't always work like that because you're going to be struggling from the beginning to get traction if you didn't, make the right investments early on. It's hard to go from, a $500 investment in your content to then becoming a brand that is cash flowing and getting a lot of conversions. And so the investments early on in CRO and the listing conversion rate are so important because it's like you're going to need to do it eventually. Do you want to do it
Yeah,
after you learn the lesson, or do you want to do it from the get go?
exactly. Which reminds me, I was going to pull this up. This is our handy dandy ROI calculator. So it just shows you how much money, how much more you're going to make if your conversion rate is just a little bit better. So let's say you're only doing 30K a month in sales. Let's say your current conversion rate is 15%. Let's say you went cheap and you got a 15% conversion rate. Let's say you did the right thing and you spent 3,000 on a listing optimization instead of 500, and it only made your conversion rate 1 percentage point better. It only went from 15 to 16. Every year, you are going to make $24,000 extra in sales. If it only went 1 percentage point better, it's probably going to be a lot better than that. It's probably going to boost you from, let's say, some cheap shit, 15 to 20. It's probably going to make you. So the ROI is 10, 20, 100x that one time. You're only paying, let's say instead of paying $1,000 to someone cheap, And for a full listing optimization, I mean, I've seen it. I'm seeing it all. I've seen Upwork, Fiverr. There's these overseas designers, and they just reuse the same shitty templates. You're looking at $700 to like $1,000. I've been in the private label like space for 10 years. I've seen it all. A plus content, images, copywriting, the full shebang. So let's say $1,000. You're only paying $2,000 extra to go through a premium agency, premium Amazon design agency, us. So it's really only just $2,000 extra. If it only gets you 1 percentage point better, that's an extra 24,000 in sales per year. So that's 12 times ROI per year. But this is going to be for 5 years. So over the next 5 years, it's like a 60x ROI, that extra $2,000. Anyways, I digress. I think you can discount it. Good to invest in conversion rate. Okay, so we can go into the monthly cost now. So again, first column is bare minimum, good, better, best. So PPC manager and Seller Central manager. That's how we think of it, as the core people that manage your account. So the minimum is you do it yourself and there's no cost. All the way to what I would recommend is for PPC manager, make sure you spend, if you want an expert, like at least $2-3K a month. Same with your Seller Central expert, around $2K a month for an expert. And this can be a VA, this can be a Filipino person. You're looking at around, if you want like an expert like 5 to 10 years experience, true Seller Central expert, not these like not like a 2 to 3 years experience, $5 an hour a person. Like you want to work with like an expert, $20 an hour range, 15, $20 an hour range. That's 2K per month. Depends on full time or half or part time or whatever. And then advertising, I would say bare minimum $50 a day if you want to start getting traction. So that's $1,500 per month. Normally we recommend $100 per day. That's $3,000 right here. Better $200 per day, but this really is going to depend on how many products you have. What we normally say is start with $100 per day and then adjust from there. Right? $100 per day is just the next easy round number. You're going to start getting data in, and then your PPC manager needs to say, okay, with this data, do I increase the spend? Do I decrease the spend? There's no way to know until you just get some data at $100 a day for like a week, and then adjust from there. So again, I have product 1. If you have 2 products, then copy and paste this. Let's say $50 a day per product. Boom. Now it gives you the total. $100 a day for 2 products. And if you have 3 products, then add a row below and put product 3. Okay. Let's say you want to do $100 a day on the first 2 and $50 a day on the second 2. There, it's going to give you a total of those costs. Product 3. Softwares, Helium 10. It's kind of the gold standard, all in one. We do have just a regular referral link in our partners page. I think it's 10% discount link. We're not sponsored by them. It's just a regular referral link. If you want to get it, we use it. All of our account managers use it every day. So obviously we recommend it in that respect. Other softwares, GetReviews.ai. That's an insert card survey builder thing. It's $90 a month. If you want to be advanced and use an insert card, then we recommend that. Again, it's in our partners page. I think there's a discount code in there as well. And an Amazon seller account is $40 a month. And of course, there are other softwares out there, but that's the kind of basic package, I would say, right there in terms of management. So for your team, you need a marketing manager or an ads manager, and then you need a back-end catalog manager. So you're looking at $2,500 to $4,500 to $5,000 per month. Or you can do an Amazon agency, like someone like us. You're looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month. Someone like us or my Amazon guy or pro level agency, you're looking at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month to manage your Amazon store. But this is broken down like per person. Any thoughts on the monthly cost before I go down to the totals?
Yeah, I think worth noting is if you end up working with an agency, then typically you don't need the software, right? That's on the agency. They've got the software. GetReviews.ai, you need it if you're going to use that service. But something like a Jungle Scout or a Helium 10 or a reporting tool, Merchant Spring, that is kind of an advantage to working with an agency versus doing it in house. Is if you're doing it in house, you need all the stuff. You got to pay for that. If you're working with an agency, usually they come with a stack of software so that you don't have to have that on your credit card.
Yeah, obviously we're inherently biased, but I mean, this is honestly what I would tell a friend, believe me or not. Like, as a business owner, you should be focused on the next product and the next product, not managing PPC and not managing your catalog. So obviously, I highly recommend uh, hiring an Amazon specialty agency to manage your Amazon store instead of you're going to pull your hair out. You're going to waste your time. You're not going to do it as well. And then because you're wasting your time on it, you're not going to launch the next products that you should. Anyways.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time. It's like as a new business and a startup, you're seeing all this stuff for the first time. Maybe you're like getting into Seller Central for the first time, trying to list your product for the first time. It'll take you probably 5 times longer to figure out all the stuff that we've seen 4,000 times already. So it's like another advantage to working with an agency is you avoid a lot of potential struggles, a lot of potential like mistakes because we've done it. We've seen every scenario already. Uh, and something that I talk about, I was talking about today is like you want as a business owner, you want someone to be able to tell you what needs to be done versus you trying to figure it out on your own. Like you trying to figure out Amazon ads and what kind of campaign should I launch next. It's like, yeah, you could watch 40 hours of our YouTube, and use your time for that, or hire us as an agency. And it's like, okay, you focus on, like you said, next product, channel expansion, uh, external traffic, social media, whatever is your skill set as a business owner. Our skill set is Amazon. And so it makes a ton of sense to just save the time, save the hassle, um, and have a professional team managing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best ROI at the end of the day. And then so what I did here is I did 6 to 12 month total cost because question that you're probably wondering right now is how long is it going to take until I've made all this money back, Riley? And how long is it going to take realistically to be profitable on Amazon? Great question. We're going to get to that in a second. So I've broken it down right here is total monthly cost for 6 months and then the total monthly cost for 12 months. And then here we have the startup costs plus the monthly cost for 6 months and then the startup cost plus the monthly cost for 12 months. So the way that I think about this is the money that I need to think about setting aside to launch my Amazon FBA brand. So Riley, do I need to set aside money for, is it going to start paying for itself after 6 months? Is it going to start paying for itself after 12 months? Well, only God knows that. But I would say realistically set aside enough. Don't expect to get any of this money back for 6 months. Ideally 12 months. In 6 months, of course, you're going to sell through your initial round of inventory. You may not be profitable in 6 months. You may not be profitable in 12 months. You may not be profitable ever. That's in business. Not every business is going to be profitable. That's up to you to create the best product. But this is how I think of it and how I explain it to friends. So let's just go with 6 months. Bare minimum, you're looking at 28K. That better 60K. A good 60K, better 90K, best 128K. Now, this is assuming you're not getting any money back You're not getting anything back from the business. This is just the money that you have set aside into that business bank account. And right, so you can be good for 6 months. 12 months would be these numbers. Now, how long is it going to take till I become profitable? I'll tell you what we tell clients, especially for health brands, for supplement brands that are something on Subscribe and Save. Obviously, if you're getting into supplements or something that's beauty or pets or something that's Subscribe and Save, repeat purchasable, CPG, consumable, you know the money's made in the LTV, lifetime value of the customer. Okay, so if you know that, then you also know that other companies know that, and especially companies on Amazon know that. And so they're willing to pay a lot per click to acquire the customer on Amazon, which means they are getting the first customer in the red at a loss because they know the LTV. So if you are a Subscribe and Save consumable health brand, for that reason, it makes sense that it would not be common to be profitable in the first year, right? Because in the first year, you're getting all those first customers. Then when do you make your profit? On year 2, 3, 4. So to summarize that, the way that we phrase it with our supplements clients is year 1, we aim for break even. If we can break even in year 1, that's actually super great. We just acquired all these customers and we're like at a break even. We're not super bleeding money. We're not super in the red. If we're like, whoa, 12 months went by, didn't lose a ton of money, we didn't make a ton of money, but now we have all these customers and we have this Amazon real estate, as we call it, which means you have a listing that's now got hundreds of reviews. Hopefully you get in your first, now you have real estate, right? You just got some Amazon real estate. And then from there, you can start dialing up the price maybe a little bit slowly, and your listing is going to convert better in the second year now that it has more hundreds of reviews. But the first year, aim for break even. Don't expect to be profitable. In fact, if you're trying to be profitable, you're probably not going to be able to get traction to rank enough on high enough on page 1 because you're not spending enough on ads because you're trying to be profitable, and your price is too high because you're trying to be profitable. So our account managers, they aim for that sweet spot. Sometimes, depending on the business, their cash flow, their inventory situation, depends on how aggressive they feel. Do they have investors? Do they have cash reserves? Is their cash flow good? Do they have plenty of inventory? And our account managers, how I like to describe it, they're just dialing 2 knobs: advertising spend and price. And then we're constantly having the conversation with the brand owner. What's that sweet spot for your goals, for your cash flow, and for your inventory and your comfort level? Some business owners, they're comfortable with like, yeah, this is my 3rd business. Fucking let it ride, guys. Let's crank it up. I got plenty of cash over here. This business doesn't need to be profitable, but I want to swing for the fences. And it's get rich or die trying. Fucking 50 Cent. Classic album. He'll never beat it. Get rich or die trying. Or it's like, hey, this is I've put like all my personal money into this, and like we can't lose too much money, so you need to be a little bit more conservative. So these are all business consultation, questions, all these things you need to weigh. But I hope that was useful. That explanation is we aim for break even. If you expect to be profitable in like 3 months or 6 months, let me tell you, sir, you're dreaming. You're not living in reality, especially if it's a supplement, because it's just not. Can it be done? Has it been done? Sure. But it's just very rare for a consumable to be profitable in the first year. Ask ChatGPT, ask any business person, because of the reasons that I said, but the cost per clicks are really high. So yeah. Anyways, my rant over. Dave, what do you say?
Yeah. To add to that, right, the 2 metrics that are important, especially for Subscribe and Save products, right? LTV, like you said, is important to know, is what's your customer lifetime value. But what goes hand in hand with that when you're launching it is cost to acquire a customer, right? Is knowing your LTV and then saying, all right, what is my tolerance to acquire a customer? And in your first 6 months, especially on Amazon, how aggressive can you go? The more aggressive, the better. Because as you can imagine, there's the big players out there, they're aggressive. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of brands. I remember hearing a story about this deodorant brand, one of the top deodorants on Amazon nowadays. They were like, it's this whole thing, get rich or die trying, right? They essentially told their PPC manager, they were like, the keyword deodorant, when people type it in, I don't care how much it costs, put us in the first place. Put us in spot number one. I don't care what the cost is. Put us there. We're going to do that for 3 months and see where we land. And that was their strategy. And they're big. They got big coffers. So not everyone is going to be in that situation. But just being honest with yourself and saying, okay, what's my tolerance to acquire a customer? And the caveat there is know that when you're a new product and you have no reviews, nobody knows your name, and you are brand new to the marketplace, no ranking, whatever, it's your conversion rate is very low, especially on PPC. Because as you can imagine, especially sponsored products, you're going to be stacked up against people with more reviews, probably like better ranking, probably better ship time too, because you don't have that much inventory at the warehouses compared to them. And so you're kind of set up to fail from the beginning. And so you have to fight to gain your real estate. You've got to be more aggressive than them to start taking away market share. And so what I see on average is it takes anywhere, depending on how well you're priced, anywhere from 15 to 30 clicks to get a conversion from PPC when you're just starting. Some it's more, some it's less, but on average, you convert it around 5% as a brand new brand from PPC. So think that's 20 clicks that it's going to take to acquire a customer through advertising. If you're doing better than that, great. If you're doing worse than that, that means you got to look at it deeper. But that's kind of like the benchmark that I always look at is, all right, we have 5%, we better, we worse. And no, all right, in my niche, I'm a pet supplement and my keyword that most important to me costs $5 cost per click. Then you can say, logically, that's 20 clicks at $5 each. I got to pay $100 and be prepared to spend $100 to acquire one customer. And so you can kind of do that little math exercise just and set that tolerance. Because the what shoots people in the foot is when they say, all right, we got an ACoS target. I'm like, you don't even have a product yet. How do you have an ACoS target? You don't even know what the marketplace is going to say about your product, And so I more push new sellers towards let's set your customer acquisition cost goal. Um, you're going in blind, your product
Yeah,
brand new.
yeah. Yeah, that's like when people reach out to me and they'd be like, yeah, we want our product to be profitable. Of course you do. Oh, I thought you wanted it to be not profitable. Yeah,
Right.
or they'll say like, yeah, we want our product to be profitable within 3 months. Can you do that? Yeah, let me go wave my magic wand and take you out of your virtual reality headset land that you're living in. Take you out of your dreamland. So, anyways, I hope this conversation was helpful and maybe it clarified some things. Maybe it helped you get a little bit more into what we think is reality land. Maybe it helped you avoid some costly mistakes. If it did, and if you watched or listened to the end, then let us know in the comments what you found helpful, or if you have any questions. We'll try to do an episode for the most common questions. But yeah, any other thoughts or things you would say to someone who is watching this?
I guess the inventory question, it's always kind of a mixed bag. Is like how much should I buy for my first batch to send to Amazon? And I personally would say, what niche are you in? How much search does it have? What are the competitors doing before you even think about numbers? Is look at the search volume and then look at how many purchases are made in that niche every month. And yeah, definitely don't go too light. You're going too heavy. It's like if you're launching in a niche, let's say you're launching in a like iron supplements where there's so many people that search for iron supplements every month. Uh,
Yeah.
you don't want to go too light and only order 200 units because it's like, well, if you get any sort of traction, then those are going to be gone in a day. If you get any sort of traction, but know your lead times. So I'd say for inventory, know what your lead time is of when you say, okay, go, I paid my deposit, start making the product to then, all right, it's produced in the packaging and then shipped to Amazon, and then kind of factor that in. Uh, that's always a tricky question. Is like there's no right answer, but there's definitely a wrong answer. Like, well, yeah, don't buy 100 units and prepare for your Amazon launch. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to give yourself enough coverage to succeed.
Yep. Yep. So check the link below for this checklist. I will also just throw in here in our premium A plus templates, there are examples of $1 million brands that I like. And we put them into Canva. So this is actually a client, Vibrance Labs. What's another one that I like? Oh, I love this brand with The Rock, Zoa Energy. They got The Rock to sponsor them. Like, if you want to be like this brand, multi-million-dollar, $10 million brand. Here's another one. I really like this listing. They've already changed it though, but I put it all into Canva. These are in my templates. Um, I just want to add some visuals to this video. Like, if you want to be, yeah, $1 million brand, then that's kind of the context for this video. If you want to be like Element, I would be surprised if they're not a 9-figure brand by now. I ordered some, by the way, recently. I'm a huge fan. It's delicious stuff. I tried those sparkling drinks too. Um, there's another Element. So your listing should look on the lines of these, and all of these I actually handpicked from Amazon, and I told my design assistant, hey, copy these into Canva. And you can actually, so we have this as a digital product. You can actually use these as a starting point. Your design team, if you're doing it in-house, they can use these as a starting point and or inspiration and or just pick and choose modules from these and then piece together your listing based on modules that you have. But if you are a DIY person, we do have this as a digital product on our website. These are 100 Premium A Plus templates, and this is actually just the first 50 because not everything could fit in one project. And then we have more. So amazingmarketingco.com/digital products. We have the ultimate Amazon bundle, which is everything. We have our all Canva templates, and then we have our Premium A Plus templates, storefront templates, gallery image templates. Anyways, I have all of these Canva templates, SOP library. So if you are a DIY person, I created all this for y'all DIY folks. FYI, but it's just good for inspiration as well. Like those are like 100 of the best looking listings that I've found over probably the past 2 years. I just had my assistant like go copy those into Canva, and just seeing that list is worth it. Is just for inspiration. But anyways, questions in the comments. If you guys have any questions, Dave offers business consultations. So you can get in touch, amazingmarketingco.com/consult, or just via our website if you would like a consultation. His hourly rate, he's now offering those. Any final thoughts, tips, tricks, Senior Dave?
No, I think everything is in this one sheet. It's a great home base. Like I love it. It makes it really simple, and it's great if you're like at the beginning stages of a launch to just run through that mental exercise of, all right, what am I signing up for? What are all the expenses I can expect, and how much really should I be putting away for this. So, yeah, that is going to be in the description, right?
Yep.
To get this sheet.
Also, the checklist that I just showed did not include costs associated with starting your company. So like the bank account, the LLC. Well, there's just bank LLC. I should have it. So this is the ultimate bank. Starting an LLC, is that even here? Or points credit card? This is the ultimate Amazon business checklist. This is one of our digital products as well. It's got every aspect of your business: SEO, CRO, account setup, total tech stack. That's in our digital product space as well. But yeah, we didn't include registering your LLC. But
Yeah.
that's kind of not Amazon specific. But
I've got a recommendation for that one too. I know a company that makes it super easy. It's like an online thing. They'll file it for you depending on what state you're in, and it's not crazy expensive,
yeah,
especially if you're someone like me. Like I don't like doing the paperwork stuff.
yeah, it's $300 or something like that.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, I love Mercury Bank. Do you use Mercury?
I use Mercury. Yeah, I love them too. I get, I think, 2 different bank accounts with Mercury.
Yeah, yeah, it's I love it. Anyways, I think we both got a bounce. We're a little bit overtime here, but hopefully that was helpful. Comments below, all that good stuff, and see you in the next one.